The Offspring's original drummer and founding member James Lilja would end up leaving the band before they had any mainstream success, opting to go instead into the medical field. However, he would soon be in the news again after a medical malpractice suit was in the news, and it wasn't for the reason you think. Today, let's take a look at the Offspring drummer who became a doctor. Formed in 1984 under the moniker Manic Subsidal, Lilja would serve as the band's drummer from 1984 to 1987 and played on the group's 1986 demo tape and their first single I'll Be Waiting, which came out the same year. Lilja also contributed to the band's first album, which was self-titled and released in 1989, co-writing the song Beheaded. But by the time the band gained mainstream recognition and a whole new fan base, Lilja had long departed the group. Frontman Dexter Holland would tell an interviewer, "This is where James Lilja came from. Now James was our first drummer, and this was before we even recorded our first record. James is a great guy with a pretty warped sense of humor, and this guy was dying to get into medical school. In fact, he was so intent on getting into medical school that he didn't even really practice with us much, which is part of why he's not our drummer anymore. But anyways, James and I got together one day and I told him how I was trying to write the lyrics for the song. I had the idea of calling it Beheaded and having it be about this crazy guy who enjoys that sort of thing. Yes, he got into medical school, and believe it or not, he's now a gynecologist. I hope his patients don't find out that he once helped write a song called Beheaded." It was during his time in the Offspring, Lilja attended the University of California between 1984 and 1988, graduating with a bachelor's degree of science in microbiology. In 1993, Lilja would graduate from medical school from the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. Since then, he works as an obstetrician in San Jose and Fremont and deals with cancerous and precancerous treatments having to do with the female reproductive system. In 2018, Lilja was in the news when Law 360 reported that a medical malpractice suit was filed against the doctor in California by a patient and her husband who claimed he was negligent in his care. Then during the trial, while the jurors were being selected, one of the prospective jurors collapsed, hitting his head, and was knocked unconscious. The prospective juror wasn't said to be breathing and had no pulse. A person would run into the courtroom to ask Lilja and his nurse to help assist. The doctor and the nurse would use a defibrillator and administer CPR until an ambulance could arrive. By the time the EMTs arrived on the scene, the prospective juror had a pulse but was still unconscious. The man would end up surviving, and due to what happened at the courthouse that day, the judge would declare a mistrial, claiming that the jurors selected for the trial would be biased after seeing the doctor and his nurse save a man's life. The case would end up going to arbitration and would be ultimately dismissed. Despite being busy with medical school and his practice, Lilja did play in a band during college called Oral Groove. Then in 2009, he formed a band called 11 Times, and most recently in 2018 formed a new group called Bunko, whose debut EP Thought Patrol came out in August of 2019. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe. We'll see you again in Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.